Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 377, and today we're doing Battle in a Ruthless Rumble. And so, if you caught our previous video, made note that in this one we're going to be starting off a little bit into the event at 2-0. These Ruthless Rumbles do have a tendency to go a little bit long. If you're going to play 5 matches, win all of your games for 10 games, average about 70 minutes a game, or so 70 minutes a game, F that noise, but 7 minutes a game, that'll get you up to 70 minutes. It's very easy for these things to run up to 2 and 3 hours long. And so I know everybody would love to hear my hick-ass voice for 3 hours, but I like to cut these things a little bit short, and so this Rumble has already started, and it's the one we'll be finishing off. So, again, if you watched our previous video, we're playing that same lineup. We're playing Jhin, we're playing Samira Jinx, and we're also playing Shen Jarvan. And it's a lineup that's looking to take advantage of the Fizz Samira, and then also being good against Karma Set. If you watched our previous video, we had a pretty good smashing of Karma Set along the way. And so the other thing I was wanting to kind of make note of here is I feel like this might be our last standard video of Glory for Navori. I'm not entirely certain what's supposed to be happening here in the upcoming days, but the variety patch should be coming out tomorrow. The variety patch notes should be coming out today. And then we're supposed to be moving into an Eternal-based format. And so I'm not certain if the entire ladder is just going to switch over to Eternal or what's going to be happening there. But we may be playing Eternal for the next month with no standard in sight. Personally, I don't think that this is going to work. I feel like this mixing in of Eternal is just not going to happen. I'll talk about it more in our patch notes video tomorrow, but I think getting into this cycle of variety patch coming out, format switching to Eternal, and then either needing the balance changes to Eternal happening from data that came out like 3 months ago, or making changes to Eternal after the format has been played. It's just like the sequencing just doesn't really work out right. And so Riot has a lot of smart people. I'm sure they have a great plan for this, and they've thought of this ahead of time, but it just strikes to me as this format is going to be a hot fucking mess, and then it's just never going to get fixed. And it's why you see with like Hearthstone, they focus on standard. With Magic, they focus on standard, and a lot of these formats beyond standard just get put into the back burner a little bit, and they don't really get the updates that you see as frequently as you would want. I feel like without having Eternal be a consistently competitive event, it's just not going to get the changes that it needs, and those changes are going to come like too late to be relevant. And so we'll see. That's a convo for tomorrow, but today we're jumping in this little best of 3 standard. Let's see what we can do. That's very, very interesting. We'll see. I'm not opposed to playing standard. I'm not opposed to playing Eternal. It just strikes me as an odd pattern to have coming about. And so I don't think they'll pull the standard queues. Like right now, at least as far as I understand, there is no ranked Eternal. You can friend challenge an Eternal, but you can't play in the Eternal queue. And so I'm curious what happens if they just kind of neglect standard for a month because Eternal is the only queue, and then you come back into a standard queue that hasn't been balanced based. Like it just strikes me as weird. I'm not certain how that'll actually play out or what's going to happen there, but I'm sure it'll be okay. And as I always say in these things, there's always so much outrage whenever anything happens. Nobody's allowed to do anything right. Nobody's allowed to make a mistake. And I feel like there's just going to be a lot of outrage either way. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. But nonetheless, back into the lineup here. With this, I'm fine to play against Udyr Jarvan or Udyr Galio with all of our decks. Our aggro deck should be fairly well tuned to deal with that. I'm also fine to play against Illaoi Swain. We do have to watch out a little bit for its ability to take down our 1 health units. Those 1 healthers, make it rain kind of cards. Quite good against the 1 healthies that come out of Samira Jinx and Jhin. But it's ultimately a lineup or a matchup I think we can take down. So I'm going to come over here and ban out the Shen Jarvan. I don't really want to play mirror matches of that. And I think that it's the deck that's going to give us the most trouble here. Alright, so opponent brings out the Alawi Swain. And again, I think Annie Jhin should be reasonable here. They do have a lot of ways to attack at our 1 health units. They have Make It Rains and Parlays and the like, but I think if they're going to be going tall with a single unit, and then we're able to just stun that unit at a impactful point in time, that we're gonna be okay at the end of the day. All right, I'm gonna lead out with Annie. I don't entirely like this. I'm thinking we should have probably just started with the pigeon. The problem with Annie is if opponent comes at us with a tentacle smash here, you get to take down Annie for free. And so I think we probably should have played Crimson Pigeon. He doesn't have the great answer anyways. So the pigeon actually would have been a lot better here facing down the hired gun. But you know, we're living and we're learning. Poor Annie just hanging out at home, not getting to do any battles. Sad day. Sad day.
The sea she calls, the world we answer.
All right, we'll bring in the Mana Soul. This game, it's just like such a cascade of problems. Since we didn't play the since we didn't play the Crimson Pigeon on the first turn, now we don't have the 3/3 to get in front of the Sea's Voice. This has been kind of brutal. Just a real learning experience from playing the wrong unit on the first turn of the game. Are we going to come in and try and change anything here? I think we need to get these level ups happening. So I'm going to drop Crimson Pigeon. I'm going to drop Crackshot Corsair. We're kind of okay if opponent plays a big unit here. Like if opponent wants to add a Lowy to the board, and then we get to disintegrate down a Lowy in combat. I think that's a way for us to get right back into the game. So we'll see how obvious it is that shenanigans are afoot as we attack with our Annie. She shouldn't be, you know, too strong on this board, and so I don't think opponent's going to come out and just take the bait. But we need to get things happening and going more in our way. So Annie's up to level 4. Jhin, his Lotus Trap got spent without stunning, but I think that'll be okay at the end of the day. And now do we want to take down a Lowy? I think I'm okay with this attack. Let's just roll into the next turn and see if we can't, you know, pick up a stun along the way. Or we can just switch into playing the other Annie, maybe.
Defend yourself.
Art requires a certain cruelty.
All right, Jhin on board. Opponent's starting to get some big boys. A little scary. I'll give him that. But I think this is still okay. And then a perfect draw in the Sunhawk.
I will give them a show to remember.
So at 4 mana, he shouldn't be able to burst down anything for his tentacle here. I think I want to come in and just try and take the tentacle off of the board. What this is going to do is the Sea's Voice is going to get stunned by the bird. We're going to remove the tentacle, then we'll make an attack. Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Okay. Well, the idea there was that our third skill is going to be the one that stuns a Lowy. It's going to happen in the middle of combat, but it's enough to remove her and just get this absolute blasting of damage in. Just I wasn't expecting Make It Rain to be so brutal there. It's pretty tough. Alright, well, let's attack with a bunch of 3 health Crimson Pigeons. They'll survive a block on a Lowy, so if a Lowy wants to block on the turn, he's going to have to get reamed for damage. Surprised he's not blocking the Annie. He's just going to have another 1 damager. Very greedy blocks, though. Okay. It says, deal maximum damage to me, please. Bring it upon me. Here, what's a big deal? We get a stun and a remove next turn. I don't think we want to use it this turn. I mean, we have some options to maybe pirouette off the tentacle, but I don't think that... I mean, it's still just going to grow one after the fact. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And the Leviathan now. So now we're going to have to face down a Swain next turn. How much is this attack? If we don't stun anything, this is going to be 1, 2... That takes the tentacle up to 3. So we've got 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 5 is like 13, 14, 15. And we're just going to die if we don't do it. What a fucking brutal round, man. Had so much tied into that Jhin. Just to have it get removed that way. It was fucking painful. Holy shit, and then he just doesn't attack? Wow. Wow. Oh, we didn't pick up the answers we needed, but... Oh boy. Oh boy. That's the way today's gonna be, huh? That's the way today's gonna be. Alright. Well, let's see what we can do against Udyr Galio. I think this should be a reasonable match. Like, the formidable deck does have a lot of stats that it's capable of just kind of throwing in front of our units. It has some of those kind of go wide aspects to it, but a lot of it's kind of draw dependent. And so if you're wanting to set up one of these draws to where you play a bird and then you put a equipment on it and then you put the regenerate stance on it and you build up into this one like really tall unit, we should be able to take advantage of that pretty well. But if they have one of these draws to where they play a turn 1 challenger into a turn 2 challenger into a turn 3 utility unit, and they're able to just focus down what we're doing and attack us with width, then we're gonna fail. All right, not too worried about Durandi Sculptor. Annie comes in. We can drop Annie in now. I think we want to be open attacking next turn. If we pick up a 1-drop, things might be different, but it doesn't really feel like a Batum turn. It feels like we want to open. Ideally, take down this Durandi Sculptor. If it doesn't get the takedown, then maybe he plays a combat trick so he doesn't get another unit. And then we're going to try and use the... we're going to try and use the stagehand 2 turns from now. All right, he brings the block onto Annie. See him play a +2/+2 or a whatever. Yeah, I would prefer it costs 2 mana. It's a lot harder to play a unit for 2 mana than it is for 3. But I still like the angle.
Now that's a bit better. Whoa, I can see the magic.
And a Crimson Pigeon. Not a bad draw. It's a tough spot here. I'd like to maximize the amount of Mana Souling we get to do. But if we want to, say, add Pigeon Mana Soul and then next turn Stagehand, that's our biggest course of damage. So would we rather play the Tusk Speaker this turn? I guess at the end of the day, we'll get more activations with the Mana Soul. Dropping it now. So yeah, this is the width stuff I was worried about coming out of this deck. Just if he's building up into a single unit, we can take advantage of that. But if he's going wide out here, it gives us a lot more problems. So we're going to have to attack with everybody. Ideally, our Mana Souls will get to survive here, but we'll have to see how he throws his units down. It's technically bigger units with the Pigeon and the Stagehand, and he does have some opportunities to say maybe want to block a Crackshot Corsair, but getting that damage in that doesn't involve combat is going to be pretty important in these upcoming turns. Oh boy. This is not good. This is not good. Pretty close to lethal though. I did the mathematics on that one, and that is pretty close. See how this goes. He could have a single combat out of this, which would be painful, but we have the kind of two angles to victory here. If he has the single combat to cancel the Nox and Fervor, we can still play Tusk Speaker next turn and deal 2 points of damage. Well, are we going to die to an open? Oh, fuck me. Opponent's dropping emotes way too early, too. Yeah, what a bummer. What a bummer. It's only 8 coming in, so we can block down here on the end. We can maybe tie this game. Okay, whatever. Okay. Give me a best of 1,000 against this guy, and we'll see who's emoting too early then. Fucking okay. That's tough. Okay, I'll just stop there. I'll just stop there. All right, though. On to the next ones. I knew that matchup was going to be a little bit tough. The one I'm curious with, if we could have had some different angles on, was the Alawi Swain one. I think we've maximized what we were able to do in that last game. I think we took the angles that were going to give us the best advantages, right? Looking to, if he goes tall, then we're great. And then if he goes wide, then if we can get a double stun turn, we should be pretty okay. And then we were right there almost with enough points of damage. I'm curious if the thing I was thinking about in the combat is, did we Nox and Fervor too early? And you're kind of in the space to where if they tap out, you know, if he gets out of that combat and he says, oh, cool, I got out of combat, that's great. Now I'm going to play another unit and he's tapped out, we can go for the kill. Like maybe we got too aggressive with our Nox and Fervor, or maybe we should have just played it on a different unit as well. That was maybe a little too close. But up against the same dude, let's see if we can't get a little bit of vengeance here. I'm going to come in and ban out the same deck. We're still going to take out the Shen Jarvan. It just, again, I think that's the one that gives our deck the most trouble here. All right. Round number 3 with A&E Jhin. Let's see what we can do. All right, there's no 1-drops in this one. That makes it easy. Let's get rid of everybody. Crackshot Corsair says, hey, buddy, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to deliver the aggros that you need. Good friend. Good friend. Is he going to get parlayed on round 1? To the Legion Saboteur. Alright, let's hold back. We've already got this pirouette in hand. We need to know that it's okay to just come in and build up board. We can take the damage here. He's not the aggro. I don't think we have to worry about that damage too much. I think this is okay. Now if we pick up a 2-drop, we get some good booms on the round. I'd really like to get in this big pirouette. And, yeah. Yep, okay. Something will go right one day. One day, something will go okay. But let's add in the Precious Pet. He's gonna drop the 3/3 for 3 this turn. That's the way the cookie's been crumbling these days. But we'll keep at it. Alright. Positive combat. You go, little spider. You do your thing. And I think we're still okay here. We're getting ready to just start kind of chaining up in this board. Opponent hasn't done a lot in terms of building up tentacles or building up to Swain. So I think even with the game going a little bit slower, it's still going okay. Interesting. Really, really surprised he didn't take the hook into our precious pet.
A certain cruelty.
But we can get Jhin on board. We can start popping off with a bunch of our abilities on this next turn. It's a little unfortunate in the sense that we haven't chipped in a lot of damage, so we're not that close to lethal. So I don't want to get super ambitious on this board. And then we also probably need to keep a stun for Alawi next turn. But we have a lot of activations on this upcoming turn. I think we're going to be able to get some good stuns in with Jhin, although the Lotus Trap is going to hit the Watchful Idol.
There's magic, and then there's me.
So I'm going to add the Mana Soul. I'm envisioning playing the Tusk Speaker and playing Pirouette, then looking to use another Pirouette next turn onto Alawi, and then 2 turns from now, we're going to be using the Stagehand. Has so many 1 health units, though. Just this is the ultimate bummer, is you have the Jhin ready to go, but he's going to stun the Watchful Idol. Alright, how terrible is this going to be? It's a valid question, right? I think it's a valid question. So I want to stun or deal damage to Pablo. We want to stun something else. I think we want to stun the 2/3. Well, we should probably stun the Tentacle, right? I'm looking to actually get an attack in with the Precious Pet this turn. And so he's the angle. Now, the scary thing with Precious Pet and why I would be moderately worried as to why opponent actually left it on board is if he's going to come in and try and take a big Alawi OTK in through the 1 health unit. I don't think it's in the cards. Like, if he wants to play Eye of Nagakaboros next turn, it's going to take the Tentacle up to 4, the attack will take it up to 5, then that's only a 7 attack Alawi, and so it's not quite enough for the kill. You can set it up like that plus a Nox and Fervor, but it doesn't strike me as what was planned here in this leaving the Precious Pet up to take it down 2 turns later. And so we'll see. But I'd like to strike in a little bit of damage here if we can, and then 2 turns from now if we're able to play the Stagehand and another stun and maybe close out the game then. Feel a little better about it. All right, big thoughts going in. It's gonna be a Make It Rain, and it's gonna hit Jhin and the Mana Soul in face. You wait for it. It's coming in. And another Pirouette. Okay, we can work with that. Is this Swain gonna be leveled? That would be scary. He doesn't have any text on him. He hasn't played a lot of spells that deal damage though.
If you are here, the dead cannot be far behind. Yes.
Alright, so we'll take the stun onto Alawi. We shouldn't be dying this turn now. Now hopefully next turn with the Stagehand and these stuns we'll be able to punch through the rest of the way. We should be getting an additional stun out of Jhin with the Lotus Trap. So we should be close. He's not close to flipping, which is sad, but close to the lethal. Now a Tentacle Smash. Okay.
Defend yourself.
That's gonna make it more challenging. I don't think we're going to have enough stats on board to really contest it after this turn. I mean, we have the Stagehand. We really need to pick up like a Stun Bird or another Stagehand to try and punch through this. Okay, we'll fall to 3. We'll die to a Nox and Fervor, but like, when are we ever winning this game? just throwing away more of our units. We're not. And so we'll take the one block that's going to come in and prevent some damage. We'll keep our higher valued units behind, and then if he has the Nox and Fervor, he's got it. I think, yeah, we probably messed that one up as well. I was just immediately thinking of preventing the most damage. I don't think we had a block on the Buru. Like, if we could have blocked the Buru Lookout and taken it to 1 health and then stunned something and pirouetted it off the board this turn, that would have been pretty big. But I think we were short of that. Yeah, now we just don't have enough stuns without our what's his name? Without our Jhin. Like, we can take the stun on the Leviathan, we can stun a Lowy. Pirouette's not going to clear out enough board. Okay, GG. You're getting boomed out here, Annie Jhin. You gotta get us a victory. You gotta go hard, or we gotta go home. All right, up against our friend Udyr. Let's see what we can do. I believe in you, Annie. You're gonna do big things. You were destined to do big things in this game. All right, cue it up. So what do we got? Those aren't any 1-drops. Let's get this out of here. Not even hanging onto the test speaker. We gotta get out in front of the opponent. So this is a tough one. This hand's going to be like pretty heavily reliant on Jhin. It's another one of these spots, though, as to where, like, if we play the Pigeon and then opponent actually has the 1-drop Formidable, that kind of sucks. But if they don't have any 1-drops, I want the Crackshot Corsair. I just want to start leveling up these skills so that our Jhin can take usage of them. I was trying to think, like, sometimes this deck, I know in our last game against this deck, he did play the 1-cost Formidable, and so it's certainly in the mix, but this deck doesn't usually play a ton of 1-drops. Oh, all the Jhins. Oh boy.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
This is gonna be a problem. This is a problem. Alright, something for us. Anything, game. Alright, I think we can drop Annie. It's just, if we play Annie and then he's got the, like the Formidable Charger, whatever he's called, I think we're stuck still just attacking. The interesting thing with the Annie is whether or not we actually want to activate the Lotus Trap off of our Jhin, since it's going to be a stun on the next turn, but I think this is okay. Leave the Crackshot Corsair at home. Want to keep getting the abilities out of him. Like, if this is kind of like that last game, to where if he has to block with the Sculptor and then play a +2/+2 to win the combat, I'm fine with that. But I don't really want to give him just a free one with the Crackshot Corsair. And so it was a real pain point in that last one, in the sense that he was able to put down the unit and play the spell, right? He had the Elixir of Iron to boost the Durandi Sculptor, so he's still able to play a 3-drop. That's just the tough spot for us. And so this is fine, right? Opponent having to spend 3 mana to protect the Sculptor here is okay, because he's not going to be able to play any more units after this. If he picked up that 1-drop, then, you know, more power to you, I guess. But from a gameplay perspective, this is good. Can we really give up on all this mana? I guess at this point, like, the bird isn't a challenger yet. I'm just going to risk it and go ahead and play Jhin. I don't think there's a world where he, like, there's a very good chance he just doesn't attack here. So I think we're stuck adding Jhin. And then from the way this game has progressed, it doesn't really feel like he's going to have another unit to play this turn. And so I think this is okay. Sure. This is exactly what I was talking about, what we want to see against this deck. We want them to put down their Petricite Broadwing, and you put the equipment on it, and you put the Regenerate on it, and then you come in and we just stun it. Ideally. Ideally, that's what's going to happen. Now, pain point here is we can't stun off the Lotus Trap, right? We can attack with everybody. We get one activation with the Crackshot Corsair. We can look to Nox and Fervor, and so if we attack, he plays like an Udyr here. We can make an attack and then potentially stun something. Ooh, that's actually very interesting since the Lotus Trap stuns the weakest unit. The formidable unit's going to be the weak one. So if we Nox and Fervor in the middle of combat, we're going to get the stun that way. So let's bring everybody at this point. Can't hit him. Oh shit, I forgot. The Jin's gonna do the work anyways. I forget that he has this attack ability attached to him.
Captain Model for me? Stay still. Captain Model for me? Stay still.
All right, Crackshot Corsair. Do we want to go ahead and Nox and Fervor? I don't think so. I think we can play the Jhin flip card and just have that be an additional skill for the round.
I have prepared something very special.
Just got to get a little bit more in. Just need that 1 point of damage and everything will be okay. Just give me a little bit of something, you know?
Where's my hammer?
Yeah, this is fine. Alright, so we'll add Jhin. We can wait until next turn for this Nox and Fervor. I'm looking to add Jhin. I'm going to second bounce the Durandi Sculptor. We'll add in the Tusk Speaker. We should be in a spot where we can just attack, right? We just hit with everybody. That should be enough to win the game. And if it's not, we can use the Nox and Fervor then. Just felt a little aggressive for the round. I guess, I mean, if he's tapping down this low, we could have played the Tusk Speaker into... should have done this earlier, huh? We could have done the Tusk Speaker in, but I think we're still okay here. Now we just get to attack and deal 4. A little sloppy, but enough at the end of the day. All right, the performance begins. GG. Our first showing of Shen. Welcome to the party, my dude. I don't think... I think the Shen Jarvan deck got banned out every single match in the previous video, and then it's our first game with it in this one. So, welcome to the party, my dude. Got to get that Jarvan on board. See how the opponent enjoys our barriers. All right, it should be a reasonable enough start. Like the Bright Steel and Kanaku Student together aren't a great combo, but if we pick up literally any other cheap unit, then they're going to be ready to pop off. And that was a great addition with the Green Glade Caretaker. We can kind of throw these down with reckless abandon. The opponent should only have things like Broadwing and single combat, and so we might lose like one unit along the way, but we don't have to be very conservative here in the early game. Especially nice without the Broadwing coming in.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
Alright, so I don't really want to play the Brightsteel this turn. I feel like we can build up to this just a little bit better. I'm going to add in the Badger Bear. If he has the Petricite, the Charger that's going to become a 0/5, that's a little bit of a problem, but this isn't a game to where we have to be really aggressive against what they're doing. We have, just as long as we can build up to a barrier or something, we're going to be okay. So why does he attack with the Petricite Hound? Like, this is... these are, like, incredibly scary attacks for the opponent, right? If we're able to drop a single barrier in the middle of combat, then we get to just shut down everything that he's doing. So I'm really surprised to see all of these come in. Now the question is, do we want to just, like, start banking into the next turn since we're going to start playing all these big units? I don't think the combat cook is really going to be doing anything. So we'll let him stay at home for the moment. We're going to add in the Screeching Dragon, and then if we do manage to pick up a barrier spell, we're going to be ready to drop it in the middle of combat. The only thing I'm, like, ultimately worried about in this space is if he comes at us with a single combat, but he doesn't have the mana for it at the moment. Alright, so let's see if we can do it. Still no combat speed barriers, but if he doesn't open on us and we get to start dropping the Brightsteel and at least having the 2 barrier units on board, it's going to be tough for him to recover from. Can we fall to 3? Is that too dangerous? I think it's okay. Are we just gonna get killed? Should've. Okay. I don't know if you were doing the mathematics on that one, but we're gonna fall to 3, and opponent just played 3 mana combat tricks, and so that's certainly a thing. But all right, if we can just survive a little bit more and pick up some of these, like if we picked up a 1 barrier, I would feel so much better about being able to jump out in front of these units. But you got to get to that point. I'm not going to drop a deny on this. I'm more worried about single combats than I am just this one gigantic unit. All right, and our big boat bro turning up. I think it's one we want to go for the round. Where are the hooks going? I mean, we're just stuck taking down the smaller plays on the turn. I think we need to just drop the Protector now, right? The problem with waiting on the Protector is we've had the the Brightsteels up to this point and never had a chance to play it. So we still have kind of the same thing on the upcoming turn if we let him stick around.
Give me a day and you'll have 2.
All right, so Galio's going to flip next turn. It's not that problematic. Oh shit, I forgot we got double strike on our guy. We can pull that one off. And that's where we stop. Can't be attacking with the Kanaku students here. All right, that should get us plenty of time, right? I think we should be good now. The boat doing the work. Now if he get to double strike the boat or something in single combat down the 0/12. No complaints here. Might as well just put the barrier on the big boy, right? It's gonna feel pretty bad if we go for a single combat and then he ends up having a combat trick to punch through it.
My life for these lands. Shield up. Do not test me.
So let's see. Let's make a block like this. I still want to... Well, single combat's not going to double strike down this charger, right? We're going to have to wait till after combat for that. Turns out we're not just out here attacking. it feels like we should be, but that's not what's currently happening out here. Combat trick's fine. So we should have probably moved that around a little bit. We're getting a little sloppy here. I think this is all okay and well and good, but have been getting a little messy with this. Alright, well, let's get Shen on board and start to make the attacks look real good.
The balance requires a watchful eye.
Master, I am ready for my next lesson.
A little reinforcement at the seams.
Oh, this guy gets so big. He's got all the bonuses. Alright, let's see what you do. Big old double strike and Sacred Protector. You're gonna put in the work today. Alright, not bad. It's tempting to... This is probably actually a mistake, right? I saw the chance, the opportunity to take that giant unit off the board, and it really kind of blinded me here. Now he's got access to Anaka. I don't think Anaka is too worrisome at this point, but it's probably not. It probably wasn't the best idea to let him pick up a unit that good.
A good fight's the spice of life. Garlic works in a pinch.
You just miss? Anaka, like, immediately brings out the units, right? Huh.
Plenty to go round.
Well then. No complaints. We'll give up our double strike guy. I think it's okay. We have so much board now. Just to get the big unit out. Most single combat. There's a very good chance that he just doesn't have another spell the rest of the game. Alright, so Broadwing in, Badger Bear in. The attack should be well over 20 at this point. Let's see if that does it.
I sense an imbalance.
My steel is yours.
Game says 24.
They are under my protection.
Alright, we got him. GG. On to the next one.
You fought with honor.
You know what changed in those games? You know what happened? What the difference maker was? Here it is. You should have guessed. We had a kitty. Oh my gosh, she's gonna fall down. You say, what up? What up, internet? What up? She was not pleased. Not pleased with that interaction. You can have some scratches, though. Get you some scratches. She's been pooping in that new litter box. She's hyped for that. You know, we got a fresh litter box. One of the kitties started peeing where she didn't belong. We had a guy blocking the only entrance to the litter box land, and so everybody's excited for the new place to poop. Everybody's excited. Yeah, man, I'm excited for this variety set. I'm curious what we get to see. With the last one, I thought that they were going to be, say, influencing archetypes, right? I think in this upcoming sets, you see a lot of people kind of like speaking out and saying like, "Hey, what's the deal with what's the deal with like Nightfall? These Nightfall cards are here, but you gutted half of the archetype. Why didn't you just completely remove Diana and Nocturne?" And to a degree, I think that could be that there still has to be like a requisite number of champions to keep it balanced across the board, but I think they're just going to print more Nightfall cards later. And I think that, you don't get to see what happens until it happens, and so it seems kind of odd for it to just disappear, but I think they would have just completely removed it if the archetype was going to be gone. And we'll see. Oh, that's how you do it. Johann von Pretzels didn't want to sit around while we were talking about while we're talking about the future of the game. But I think that that's what's going to happen. But the thing that surprised me with the previous variety set was, number one, it was a I was expecting it again, like to focus on archetypes, and it just gave like a powerful card to everything. And the cards from the variety set were like highly impactful on standard, and so I'm interested in seeing what comes out. If it's going to be another really high quality collection of cards, or if it's gonna take that approach of being something useful for a keyword or something. But again, like I'll talk about it more in the next video when the patch notes come out. It strikes me as something as throughout the course of time, as you add more cards to a set or add more cards to a format, the better a card has to be. The cream rises to the top, and just having like 10 new cards added to the format is so much more impactful for standard than it would be for Eternal. And so it just, I don't know, the timing for everything just seems weird and odd. It seems like you should release the new set, you have a season of standard, you can release a balance patch, and then do your season of Eternal. And then so it's like you had the new cards come out, they got featured in the standard set, then they get featured in Eternal with the tweaks in between. And then at the end, you have the variety patch comes out. You switch back into standard. Those cards should be more impactful because the format is smaller, right? And so if you're wanting to think in terms of, say, Modern and Magic, the older cards are just, powerful because the collection is out there. And so when the new sets are released, only a smaller portion of the new set's going to be useful for the old set. And so I'm curious how anything changes there. It feels like they did it out of order. All right, into the final battle, though, up against the Carrot Spirit. We're all eating our carrots and becoming fighter jet pilots, getting that crisp and pure vision. That's the way science works. And so let's see what happens here. Again, we're going to ban out the Tristana deck. I don't want to be battling against the width that comes from adding all of the little Alcats to the board and everything. We'll deal with this Samira Jinx mirror, and then Lurk is kind of fine. It's a deck that doesn't function well against Shen Jarvan. But Shen Jarvan gets removed. Samira Jinx up against Lurk. See what we can do. All right, that's not a very Lurk-friendly hand. We need to get on board quick and early against this thing. Much better, much better. Just one discard outlet away from greatness. If we get the Pigeon down now, Samira down next turn, then 2 turns from now, if we get to do a quick attack challenge with Samira along with a big attack, that's good stuff. That's what the people want to see. So I'm willing to let these Forsaken Bakais sit around on board. I don't like to come in and trade with these because they're just never relevant. It's like it's a good blocker, but it never grows because of Lurk, right? And so it's just not an impactful unit to remove. Ruthless Predators, that's fine. But we were going to be looking to just take the damage from this combat. Then as we roll into the next turn, we should be able to quick attack challenge down a Lurker and then be bigger than that little thing on board. Have some powerful plays rolling through. But nonetheless, still reasonable here. Ooh, and he misses his Lurk. Oof. You can't make a sad face if you're the one playing this dumbass deck. Wow. I was ready to use the flare to hook something in, but ooh, not playing the Snapjaw Swarm and missing. That can't feel good. Fuck these dumb cards. I have no hard feelings for this guy. Hard feelings, that's not the right word. But I think we're safe to just drop Jinx. I'm looking to just be really mana efficient here, and so the only real punish for adding Jinx here should be as if he had a Pike up on top of his deck. So Rek'Sai coming in, this is okay. We'll just take the 6. Next turn we can add Samira, Sump Dredger, get some hooks in. I'm pretty close to lethal here. We want to do the Samira first. We should have played Flare. I got excited. I'm still so hype about that about that Snapjaw Swarm turn that we missed out on it, but I think we should still be safe here.
No problem.
So our units over here to the left are lethal. I didn't stop to do a ton of math here. I just put our first 3 units on the board, our smallest units out here, checked the damage. It was enough to be lethal, and we didn't need to get too clever after that. But we should have realistically played the Flare first. We were going to have plenty of mana going forward, and so that was a bit of a mistake. All right, Annie Jhin queued up. See if she can't help us take down this final battle. Oof. Lurk, round 2. What do we got? It's tempting to hang on to the pirouette. Like, I don't really like hanging on to it when we don't have any units, but it's a card that can be exceptionally strong against Lurk because it's pretty good at just like shutting down an entire attack, right? If you get to kill a unit and stop them from attacking completely in the turn, it's like a exponential prevention of damage because all of their future units are losing out on that point of attack. But we didn't have any units to go along with it. I wasn't quite willing to risk that. And did he just hit Rek'Sai? It felt like it had the extra animation, but I didn't hear the noise. The old Rek'Sai sound that comes about. Alright, so I'm going to add in Tusk Speaker. We'll see if we get the pirouette we want this turn. If he drops in a unit that's capable of killing, it doesn't. But we can still get a decent attack for the round. Get this little Bakai off of the board. More Sharklings. Okay. But it's one of these things to where if we can hold off on our stuns for just a little bit, they get progressively better as the game goes on, right? If the opponent has a 7 attack unit, you would rather stun a 7 attack unit than a 2 attack unit if you're just out here preventing damage. And I didn't really want to play a turn 2 Sunhawk just for the potential to prevent a few extra points of damage. We're definitely falling behind here. We can't stop enough of this board. Need to count on these mana souls to get something done.
There's magic, and then there's me.
So we'll add it in. See what happens. This is again not a great turn for us. Now I feel okay about at least making an attack here. If we trade out the full board, it's not horrible. We at least got that little extra activation with the Corsair hit coming in, and then the Mana Soul is just going to die, so Might as well swing it, right? This is just not where we want to be. Opponents at such a super high health total here. Alright, things are a little out of order, but we just drew the Experimenter. We have to maximize him. We can't run into a spot next turn where we just don't have any mana for this. So I think he's a reasonable add. Pick up Pirouette, but Just give me those cards for next turn.
Immerse yourself in the unknown.
Nox and Fervor, Stage Hand, and a Tusk Speaker. Okay. These attacks are all booty. We gotta get back to this space to where maybe we get to drop a couple of stuns down onto his units and then attack with our width. This attack just looks terrible with a 6/5 on board. We're not threatening nearly enough damage to stop it.
I heard the war song in the waves.
But pretty close next turn. We can take 14 off of these Dune Breakers. And not be dead. Or assuming he hits the lurk that pops this up to 14. And then next turn, if we get to attack and then double Nox and Fervor. Oh boy, hit Rek'Sai. I guess he was probably aware of that if he had a...
How easy on the hands, they're new.
Did he play Call the Pack that turn? I don't quite remember. But still got a shot. We got a chance. I believe in us. Stun card. Nope. Nope. So do we have enough mana for all this, right? 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, we have enough. Xerxes Collar rolls through. I'm going to stun this Dune Breaker. Then ideally, he doesn't have any more units to add to the board. One can dream, one can hope.
What we do is so much bigger than us both.
And we'll see. The 3 damage punch here just isn't enough. Right, so if we attack with everybody, he makes some blocks. I mean, I guess we might be in a spot to where we can we can clear out his units with these Nox and Fervors, but I think we just need him to do something real dumb. Like, this game is pretty far beyond us, but we should at least give him the chance to fuck up. And if he doesn't block enough and doesn't expect this 6 damage to come in, or if he leaves Mana Soul up and that gives us an opportunity for a blowout, then maybe that'll happen, but... Yeah, fall to 5. Okay, fall to 6 with 2 units. I'll allow it. It's been allowed. Uh-oh. 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 Is y'all squeezing them cheeks? Oof. Oof. Nice. Nice. Boom. And boom. Didn't deserve that one, but still got it at the end of the day. GG. All right. All right. Not a bad set of games. Had a little bit of a stumble along the way, but still got the 5-1. We unlocked all of the trophies. Nice little end to what I think is the end of Glory for Navori Standard. I don't know. I'll have to ask around and see if I can't get some better info before we make the next video. But I feel like that was the end. I think we're just playing Eternal for the next month, and so we'll see. If that's the case, I'm excited to see the new cards. I felt like this was a very strong standard format. I didn't have any real complaints with it along the way, and so that was that. And so interesting to see what comes up in the future. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and you had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.